Good day, everyone. Welcome to Environmental Management. At the end of this lesson, we'll be able to learn fossil fuel, energy resources, generation of electricity, and oil pollution. We'll be able to understand the formation of fossil fuel formation. We'll be able to gain knowledge about different energy resources and electricity. And lastly, we'll be able to perceive the impacts of oil pollution and how to manage it.
Good day everyone, I am Jingblad Amabewela and I am going to report about fossil fuel formation. So what is fossil fuel? So it is came from the decaying plants and animals. So it is found in the earth's crust. Carbon and hydrogen are burned for energy. For example, for this are coal, oil, and natural gases. So dito na pinagkukunan ang mga enerhiya ng isang bagay. So what is fossil fuel formation? Fossil fuel formation refers to the process that takes place over the time span of hundreds of millions of years to produce a variety of fossil fuel. So, the fossil fuel formation ay iba-iba ang kaniyang mga proseso. May mga tumatagal na milyon-milyon na taon o posible may mga panahon na iyon na ang proportion ng oxygen, carbon dioxide at iba pang gas na magagamit sa himpapawid ay naiiba kaysa sa ngayon. So, this is what we call fossil fuel formation. And there are types of fossil fuel formation. First is oil formation. Although tradition, oil reserves form in relatively the same way. The oil sands form in a slightly different way. For example, for this oil formation is the shale oil. It is formed in the special type of reserve from kerogen trapped inside low permeability shale. Permeability shale rather. So next is natural gas formation. Traditional natural gas reserves form in essentially the same manner. However, shale gas and tight gas are two special types of natural gas. So what is shale gas? Shale gas is a type of natural gas that is trapped within shale formation, while the tight gas trapped inside of a rock with extremely low permeability. And last type is coal formation. Differs from oil and natural gas formation as burial for extended periods of time leads to different varieties of coal, namely extended burial results in the formation of lignite, subtenuous coal, and anthracite, and also the bituminous coal. So here, this is where kanabitong atong ang mga huling natong ginagamit nga. Ginasunog sila, ginalubong sila sa yuta ang kahoy para mahimo siyang uling. So this is the example picture of oil and natural gas and also the coal formation. That's my part. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Energy resources. Energy resources are used as fuels. Fuel is burned in machinery to create motion such as in a car or heat such as in a home heating system. When fuels are used para makaproduce of electricity, Heat or motion causes a generator to rotate, creating electricity for everyday use in homes and businesses. Energy resources are all forms of fuels used in a modern world, either for heating, generation of electrical energy, or for other forms of energy conversion processes. Types of energy resources: non-renewable and renewable resources. Renewable resources such as fossil fuels and nuclear material are removed from the earth and can be depleted. These resources have been the most used types of energy in the modern era. Petroleum, also called crude oil, is a fossil fuel. Like coal and natural gas, petroleum was formed from the remains of ancient marine organisms, such as plants, algae, and bacteria. Hydrocarbon gas liquids, or HGL, are hydrocarbon that occur as gases at atmospheric pressure and as liquids under high pressures. Natural gas. Natural gas is widely used for cooking and for heating. It consists mostly of methane and is found near oil deposits below Earth's surface. Natural gas can be pumped out through the same wells used for extracting crude oil. Coal. Coal is a solid fossil fuel that is used for heating homes and generating power plants. It is found in fossilized swamps that have been buried beneath layers of sediment. Since coal is solid, it cannot be extracted in the same manner as crude oil or natural gas. It must dug up from the ground. Nuclear energy. Nuclear energy comes from the radioactive elements, mainly uranium, which is extracted from the main ore and then refined into fuel. Renewable resources. Renewable resources such as wind, water, solar, and geothermal came from the sources that regenerate as fast as they are consumed and are continuously available. Some, such as biofuel produced from food crops and other plants, are replenished every growing season. In the early part of the 21st century, renewable resources have become more popular as non-renewable resources have begun to deplete. Bioenergy. Bioenergy is derived from biomass. Biomass is organic material which is regenerated over time, such as wood, municipal waste, and alcohol fuel derived from agricultural crops. Energy is released by either direct burning or by creating a liquid-based fuel for transportation, such as ethanol and biodiesel. Uses for these fuels include generating electricity, fueling transportation needs, and heating homes. In 2003, more than 3% of the nation's energy generation came from bioenergy. Geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is derived from heat within the earth. Energy is found deep in the earth in the form of steam, natural heated water, and rocks that touch magma deep in the earth's crust. On a small, low temperature scale, piping is run through shallow trenches in the ground and water is circulated by a pump. This process cools a building during the summer and warms it during the winter. This form of energy has no harmful emissions and is one of the most efficient systems available. Hydrogen. While hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and the nuclear fusion of hydrogen powers the stars, on Earth, virtually all of the hydrogen available is bound into water molecules or into hydrocarbons and therefore requires a substantial input of energy to free it for use as fuel to combine with free oxygen in fuel cells. For this reason, hydrogen is today not really an energy source but rather is an energy transfer medium. Hydropower. Hydropower is energy created from moving water. Dam water passes through a turbine that rotates generator to create electrical power. This form of energy is relatively inexpensive and has various ranges of environmental impact depending on the facility size. Electricity. Electricity is a secondary energy source, converted from the primary source such as coal, natural gas, solar, nuclear, and wind energy. Both part of the nature and one of the most widely used forms of energy. Carrier, it could be converted to the other forms of energy. Electricity generation is defined as electricity generated from the fossil fuels, nuclear power plants, hydropower plants excluding pumped storage, geothermal system, solar panels, biofuels, wind, and etc. It includes electricity produced in electricity-only plants and in combined heat and power plants.
And now let's proceed with oil pollution. Oil pollution, also known as oil spill, is the occurrence, meaning it is an event or incident to the bodies of water, like in sea bays, rivers, and oceans. And this happened when there were incidents in tankers, refineries, drilling rigs, and storage facilities. It can also be caused by human error, equipment breakdown, and natural disasters like hurricanes, storm surge, and high winds. Sometimes it is the effect of terrorism or any other illegal actions like war, vandals, and dumping. So this issue is very common to us since we heard a lot of news in TVs and radios or even read articles in newspapers about oil spill that affects the lives of marine lives and the people surrounds are living around the bodies of water. Next is let's discuss about the negative effects of oil pollution. First is the fouling or oiling. So it harms the physical structure of marine plants and animals. So tungkol sa chemicals nga ginaproduce sa oil, so madaot ang physical structure or meaning or dili na mag-bloom ang mga plants or mga animals nga naa sa tubig. Next is the oil toxicity. So it causes severe health problems to marine organisms. With oil toxicity results to heart disease, lesser immune system, lesser growth, and death. So oil toxicity can be indirect exposure or even indirect exposure. So kung miingon tag direct exposure, pwede ni siya pinaagi sa hangin nga gi-inhale sa tao or sa organism or kung naapod siya direct contact with the contaminated water. And when we say indirect exposure, so makuha nimo ni siya pinaagi sa pagligo. So pag-inom or pagkaon sa mga pagkaon nga gikan sa contaminated nga water. Next,
Number 3 is slick expanse. It is because oil and water are contrasting with each other. That is why it spreads fast and wide. Dili siya mag-mix totally, but somehow it can still contaminate the water. So, fast siya kay same sila ug water sila ay wet sila. So, that is why paspas kay sila mag-spread ug taas layo kaayo ug maabtan ang kaning oil spill. Next is number 4, habitat destruction. Because lahi man og kanang texture or components ang water and oil that it could kill sea creatures. These different oils are kanang bad and then bad for the health of the animals and plants. Next is the economy drop, as this affects many people. Dili lang siya ang fish, dili lang ang habitat, dili lang ang mga tao, kundi pati ang mga fishermen, kay mga namatay naman ang mga fish sa sea. So wala na sila makuha, and then when the economy or when the businessmen like or fishermen have no work, then the demands of fishes will rise up, and then mag-drop siya, magmahal man ang palito nun, niya gamay ra ang supply, so mo plummet down ang economy. Number 6 is lastly, the expensive cleanup. When there's an oil spill, tapos ng economy is nag-drop na, kaya na-affect ang mga ibang business or fishermen. Of course, government need to also step up in the problem. If dili kaya sa shipping or oil companies, pero kung under sa government po, so mahal kayo ang cleanup na. It is because ang kaning mga gamit is dili siya basta-basta makita and dako man og coverage na mahulog ana. So, siya, very complicated ang ways niya and then very hard to find people, to find tools. Mawala na siya, maong mahal kaayo siya. And when oil spills happens, grabe jud kayo, need jud siya dako nga cost of money para makover ang tanang ang malimpyo ang dagat or ang body of water. Mo lang siya.
Discuss about the things to do to manage oil spills and how to prevent it. So the tip for boaters. First is that don't overfill fuel tanks. Fill only 90% capacity to reduce the chance of spills. Kay kung imo mo siyang punon into 100%, kay naagi possible chance nga mag-spill jud ang oil sa sea waters. Next is use oil absorbent pads in the bilges of all boats with inborn engine. At regularly inspect through hull fittings often to reduce the risk of sinking. And recycle used oil and filters. Next is the tip for marina. First is routinely inspect storage tanks as required by law. Since naaman yun na sa balaod sa mga marinas that they should regularly inspect the tanks or the storage tanks para maiwasan ang oil spills. Kay kung napaslay error napaslay mistake is muna na siyang naay consequences or naay fines na ihatag sa ilaha. Use automized nozzle shut-offs to reduce the potential of overfilling fuel tanks. So, kailangan yun na sila, ginagamit yun nilang equipment or mga materials nga dapat yun ginagamit para dili mag-overfill ang mga fuel tanks. Set up an oil recycling program to deliver used oil to a designated collection site. Then, keep spill control equipment readily available and also properly dispose of used oil and fuel absorbent materials.
The first step to tackle the oil spill is to prevent the oil spill from taking place. This typically involves training the teams and following standard practices while bringing the ships to the port, passing through narrow channels, and staying on the prescribed path for the journey. In case of any spill, there are different solutions based on the quantum of the spill and location of the spill. Oil booms are the most common and popular equipment used in oil cleanup due to their simpler design and easier execution. These are also known as containment booms that enclose the oil to a smaller area and prevents it from spreading further. This method is employed when the area of the spill is comparatively smaller. It is used where the containment booms are locally available. If the boom is to be transported from a faraway site, the spill can expand to a larger area and become difficult to manage. It is used in the water where the wave velocity is constant, as the fluctuating tide makes it difficult for an oil boom to perform the cleanup operation properly. Next is skimmers. Once the oil is bounded by oil booms, it can be extracted or skimmed easily with the help of skimmers or oil scoops. These skimmers are fitted onto boats to remove the floating oil or greasy contaminants. It is an economical method of oil cleanup as the equipment used for skimming oil is relatively cheaper. A major loophole in the use of skimmer in oil decantation is that if debris is present in the confined region, it can choke or clog the skimmer easily. Next is sorbents. Materials that can absorb or absorb liquids are termed as sorbents. The use of sorbents is a natural process of oil cleanup. The most common types of sorbents are peat moss, vermiculite or straw, and hay. These materials result in the least wastage and prevent the progression of pollution. They are useful for small spills with the highest efficiency. They are also used to remove small tins of large spill cleanups. There is also a difficulty in working with sorbents, as sorbents become denser than water after absorbing oil and may possibly sink to the bottom of the sea. Another one is burning. It is similar to burning rice husk after yielding rice crop. In this method, the floating oil is set to fire by igniting it safely. It is the most proficient method of oil cleanup as it can efficiently remove 98% of the total spilled oil. Lastly, dispersants. When oil cannot be confined to booms, the last option that remains is oil disintegration. Dispersals are chemicals spread over the spilled oil to initiate the disintegration of oil. After disintegration, the surface area of oil molecules increases and it becomes easier for them to form a bond with water. This process takes the bonded molecules deeper in water and makes them available for microbes, which degrade them later on. Some other methods employed for safer oil spill cleanups from the sea are hot water washing or washing with high pressure water, manual labor, and bioremediation and natural recovery. And that's all. Thank you.